What's going on, guys? Today we are back with another video, and it is going to be a challenging one. Look at this day. It is glass calm out, not a breeze, hot, flat, no wind, and super sunny out. This is a day that a lot of us probably confront when walleye fishing, when it can be seemingly impossible sometimes to get bites. So I have no idea what today's going to be like. The bite has been all over the place. One day it'll be good, one day it'll suck, but today will definitely be challenging and will definitely require some slower fishing overall. So yeah, I'm not even sure exactly what we're gonna do, but we're probably either gonna do something jigging related, something spinner rig related, or maybe a Lindy rig. I'm not sure. I filmed a Lindy rig thing a few days ago and caught some fish doing that, but I have no idea. So I can tell you what we're going to be fishing as far as spots go, and we're going to be fishing a lot of these deeper humps in some deeper water, and a lot of these fish are probably going to be belly to bottom down here. So we're going to be fishing real slow, real finessey, and hopefully catching some good walleyes. Stay tuned. I'm up for a challenge. Let's do it. All right, spot number one. We are fishing a rock bar here, and I've not looked yet to see if fish are here, but on a day where it's slow like this and you know it's going to be tough, I always want to make sure I'm in fish before I start fishing. All right, there's a few fish on side imaging. I'll go ahead and take a screenshot for you guys so you guys can see it. And yeah, they're kind of off the side of where they normally are, but we're basically going to drop some lines on these fish and see what happens. Oh, right there. He is running. I'm just going to cinch up on him. There we go. Just like that. Like I said, I have no idea how we're gonna catch him today. Look at this is crazy. We got a fish on. Well, GoPro's never gonna pick this up. There's about 1 million minnows right on the surface. But anyways, I have no idea how we're gonna catch fish today. It's definitely going to be tougher. We've been out here for a little bit now, just kind of looking around. And saw some fish just kind of scattered over this rock hump. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful midday walleye on the Lindy rig, which is what that one came on. Fishing slow, meticulous. I actually filmed a video on this a couple of days ago, and it was pretty productive. And although they're not going to be biting that good today, we can start with the Lindy rig for sure and see where the day goes. But on days that look like this, it can be an absolute grind. Especially if you're fishing some of these clear systems, or really any system a lot of time goes pretty tough and pretty negative. I just got a walleye pin stuck in my finger, but we'll take that for the first one of the day. Stocky, about 20-inch fish. Let's let them go. See if we can figure out a pattern or something that's gonna catch a few of these guys. Look at that surly. We did it. Hooked up. Man, we are working hard for bites. I had to go through these fish quite a few times to get bit, but the old Lindy rig's producing. Not a big one here, but fishing real slow, real meticulous is getting the job done. And that is about your cookie cutter 17-inch eater right there. Working super, super slow. You can see the fish, and you gotta imagine how slow you're working with a Lindy rig. At those fish, kind of basically what happens is it seems like you're gonna be a long ways by them, when really with that line at a 45 and 22, 23 feet of water, it just takes that bait a little bit to get to the fish. But there we go. There's a beautiful northern Wisconsin eater. Let's let him go. Let's get another one. So on a tough bite, I've kind of posted similar videos in the past as far as what I like to do, but a lot of times it's just simplifying everything, right? It's going from that crazy new presentation you want to try down to kind of the back to the basics type stuff. And you get a lot of these kind of days in the middle of summer, these flat, calm, hot, dog days of summer. You can find fish, very difficult to get them to bite. And yeah, that's exactly what we're experiencing today. Now, kind of the way these videos are edited, you know, I could show, you know, a 5 minute, a 20 minute, a half an hour gap between fish. But the reality is I'm working through these fish a lot, right? This hump that I'm on is probably, I would say 75 yards long, and I'm just going back and forth, right? Working this Lindy rig. And one thing that really helps out, and I kind of mentioned it in the past, is when you're working a large spot, map those fish out, right? Each time you see a good pot of fish, drop a waypoint. And a lot of times what happens is by your third, fourth pass, after you caught a couple fish, you know, you might have a good pot here, a good pot over here, and a good pot over there. It's just kind of staying put almost. And then a lot of times you can just kind of, you know, S-curve your way through that spot or zigzag and hit all those waypoints. And you know, the next time you come out, obviously then what you're gonna have is that spot already mapped out, and you're not gonna have to go fish all that dead water again, right? All fish are fish of habit for the most part, and you know, where you find them piled up one time is probably how they almost always relate to that piece of structure. So kind of keep that in mind. That's one thing that goes a long way. And on these tough days, you know, something like a jig and a worm, a jig and a minnow, a jig and a leech, or you know, a Lindy rig and live bait, a slip bobber and live bait, all those things are ultimately the answer a lot of times for me when it gets very tough. Obviously you have another end of the spectrum where you're fishing very fast and very aggressive, which can work too, but right now this is definitely that's working best for me, and it's kind of been productive the last couple days. It's just that today is a real grinder looking bluebird sky day. All right, we just got picked up. Let him run. He's gonna tighten right up on himself. Whoa. This is a walleye, it feels right. But it might be a smallmouth, I don't know. The Lindy catches a little bit of everything. And everything lives out here on this deep rock. I got a feeling we got a big bad walleye on here. I'm getting big head shakes, but not crazy runs. Oh yeah, look at that thing for a midday walleye. That is what I'm talking about. That is a chunk. We'll take that any day, and in a day like this especially. Look at that thing, so cool in the clear water. Got a head shaking walleye on. Come here, buddy. I knew that one was solid the second I set the hook. Look at that. I did not think this bite was gonna be this good today, but that is an absolute chunk, dude. On the crawler, Lindy rig. Super slow, like I've been saying, fishing real meticulous, and he absolutely clocked it. And there we go. Look at that midday walleye, beating the heat, fishing slow, working these deep humps super methodically, and we're still on spot number one. This bite's much better than I thought it would be, but like I said, we're not fishing fast. We're just working through them. Definitely gonna get this guy back quick because he is cold. He's living deep. That's a solid about 26 incher, probably just built too. There he goes. All right, so what are we fishing? Well, today we're fishing a lot of these kind of deep water humps, you know, which is a pretty common pattern pretty much no matter where you go in walleye country in the summer. And we're looking at a lot of like this 22 to like 26 feet of water. And on days like this where you don't have wind, bluebird, high skies, is very different how fish pod up than when they do when you got that good wind, you got good overcast, and things are things are looking good. A lot of times when you don't have the wind and it's very bluebird out, you'll see fish just kind of spread out over the tops or sides of a lot of these pieces of structure. Very rarely do you still get that really big, tall stack of fish, which basically wind creates. When those fish are active, a lot of times is when they all kind of get together and they're hunting around that reef, right? Or that big point or something like that. And a lot of what I'm looking at is like pods of like, I mean, basically just random one fish, two fish, maybe three fish, you know, a shot that looks something like this right here. And this is sonar and down imaging. And basically, like I said, I like to map these things out and kind of work my way through them, but a lot of it's just picking up kind of a random fish here, a random fish there, right? And I'm not looking for that one really big stack of fish, because a lot of times in these midsummer days, no wind, there isn't that big stack of fish, right? So a lot of times what you can have is you can drive over a spot and you might be like, oh, there's a fish there, there's a fish here, there's 2 fish here. You know, you never get that screenshot where it's like, oh, there's the mother lode stack of fish. And don't be intimidated by that, or don't think there's obviously not enough fish there to catch, because a lot of times once you start working it, start zigzagging it back and forth with a lindy rig or something slow or slip bobber or a jig, you're gonna see that there's actually a decent amount of fish there. They're just all kind of spread out. So the lindy rig's kind of a perfect thing to cover a little bit of water and you know, get that bait in front of as many fish while still being very slow and finessey. Got picked up. I thought I was hung up. That was a wimpy hook set, loose drag, but it is a good fish. Guarantee of that. I'm gonna turn this off. This is the one we need. This is that big kicker fish. Even though we did get one good one today, 2 good ones on a tough bite would be phenomenal. Oh yeah, good fish. Good fish. And just like that, a tough day comes together. Look at that one. He's not super long. He's just absolutely built. Oh. He's still going nuts. Long, soft rod. Super nice for fighting fish. Let me grab my net here. Look at that. That is just a beautiful, beautiful sight right there. That fish is not crazy long, but holy cow is it stocky. We'll give you guys a look. Look at that one. That is a perfect way to close this one out. It's only about a 22 incher, but holy cow is that thing an old meat one. His mouth's all tore up, super dark gold fish. Too awesome. Catching them, rigging slowly. Putting it right in their face, letting it sit there. Look at that, he's off. All right, that is gonna wrap up today's video. Just a quick little afternoon outing and a few quality fish catches and kind of how I combat tough days. These are the tough days for me. There's a few things that work for me normally on these kind of days. One is trolling, open water stuff. One is doing this very finessey lindy rigging type stuff, and the other one would be an extremely aggressive way. And the lindy rig, I'm glad I stuck with that, even though we just did a video on that, because that was definitely a productive way to fish today. And yeah, it's challenging on days like this. And on some days I kind of enjoy the challenge, other days I get very frustrated about it. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. This is just kind of how I combat these tough dog days of summer's bites. So hopefully this video was informational for you guys, and hopefully you enjoyed watching it. So yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. If you're not yet, please subscribe. Stay tuned for more content. We actually have a nice Minnesota trip coming on the way here. Looking forward to getting after some Minnesota walleyes again. And yeah, stay tuned for that. See you guys next time.